The Adepts.
No, did not work.
Yeah, and something a little bit more familiar this time, as we have the same eras for two players. But regardless, we're going to be jumping into ley lines over here in the top right-hand corner map, starting all the way in the top right. We, of course, have our blue Brood War Zerg player coming out from the land of Korea. He is currently teamless, but very active when it comes to the SC Evo scene. We have Rumeith.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the red Protoss player, the SC2 Protoss representing Twisted Minds from the land of South Korea. It is a classic.
Alright, how is this gonna unfold? Are we just gonna see a repeat of what we saw in the previous series, or do we have different tricks up, do our players have different tricks up their sleeves? Honestly, I'm not sure who I'm watching closer here in this particular map, right? As we did note that Rumeith went for a Hydra Rush the last time they faced on this map, and it didn't quite work out, so I'm curious to see if he's going to be switching things up here, but at the same time, Classic whipped out that Adept, that 4-gate Adept earlier on, which honestly is not something that I think we see. Okay, we still see it every now and then nowadays in PvZ, but I wasn't really expecting Classic to just come out of the gate swinging like that. So yeah. I'm expecting him to switch it up a bit as well.
Definitely. I feel like they do. I feel like both players have an onus to have a different approach to that first series, just because we expect both players to adapt over time. Meanwhile, Classic, he wants that drone. Just tasing away at the mineral line here. Does threaten the workers, gets another shot off as well, but alas, he shouldn't get the worker.
Yeah, not quite at any rate. But Classic will get a full scout, and he will note that the spawning pool is researching.
Yeah, Ling speed is on the way. You can see the Rumeith is still mining gas, so we should be working towards the eventual lair to eventually get into Ling Hydra. Meanwhile, Classic, he has his take of choice, is going for a Stargate opener.
Yeah, very different compared to the last time they faced on this map. And you know what? You may as well, right? You may as well take advantage of the fact that Brood War Zerg doesn't really have a lot of anti-air options early in the game. Can you imagine a proxy Oracle?
I mean, that
Brood War Zerg.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be brutal.
That could be brutal, definitely. I mean, it's going to be on Rumeith to get spores in time to defend. First Adept does slip into the natural base, gets 2 Lings so far. Good trades with the 3rd Ling as well. Gets into the mineral line. Oof.
Great target firing coming out here from Classic.
Yeah, 4 Ling kills and 1 drone as well. Can he get another Ling? He can. 5 Lings. Jesus. Oh my god.
Just kiting back and forth. It's like he's on a boat.
Kiting on a boat?
Yeah, like kite sailing. That's a thing, right?
Okay. As opposed to just kiting like out, like in a park. With a kite.
What is a kite? I've never seen those in real life.
True.
It's an invention.
Is there like
mythological? It's a mythical creature.
Is there open space in Singapore? Is there like do parks exist? Like where you can like
there are
around?
Okay. There used to be, but then somebody got injured, and so they banned running in the parks.
Ah, there you go. There you go. Now they only power walk.
Exactly.
Yes.
They have to be like the old zealots. No more Naruto running.
As Oracles, they get across the map. They do get 4 drone kills. The Spores are in position to at least zone away some of these Oracles, but they all do turn 5. And again, they don't have to worry about Queens chasing them down either. At least not until the Hydras arrive, as the Hydras are now popping out.
Yeah, you know what they say, Hydras, they're like queens, but not.
True. They do shoot up there.
They do. They also shoot down. They shoot sideways.
And the Hydras are building up. Likewise, we have Hydra Speed on the way as well. Classic likewise getting to his third, so it's just going to be a Stargate opener into Oracle into a third base. Triple Oracle here from Classic. Very SC2-esque, kind of like your go-to SC2 build. Are you going for the stasis into the main? Up!
Yeah, we'll get a couple of drones.
Likewise, stasis into natural base. No reaction! Oh my god.
This one's more brutal. Yeah, we can see the income start to plummet here for Rumeith.
And meanwhile, Rumeith, he moves out across the map. He is going for his Hydra push, does cancel the third. Very nicely done, as Classic has very little to defend, going for another stasis trap into the main base, but the stasis is going to be denied. And can Rumeith break into the natural?
Well, we're about to find out. So far, yeah, Classic does have a lot of range units to really work with. He's only warping in Zealot so far. He will be able to get a Sentry and a Stalker before the Cyber Core goes down, though, so provides him a little bit of utility.
Oh yeah, as we do have more stasis traps once again. Oh, no reaction! Another brutal stasis into the main, a stasis into the natural as well. Both mineral lines. There's barely any mining, any economy going on here for the Zerg, and Classic is working towards his Charge Lot Archon push.
One of the more punishing compositions here against Hydras. They may not be light units in Brute War, but they still tend to clump up very, they still have a tendency to clump up quite a bit.
They really do. As Hydras move out, they try to intercept the Oracles, will escape somehow, some way. They do manage to slip out of the main base. They do manage to break out, and Classic is now building up his death pool of an army. Without lurkers, I do worry for Rumeith. Quickly checking his tech, Lair just now has begun.
Oh no. This could be disastrous.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, Rumeith does have a good amount of Hydras though. Like, that's a very hefty Hydra count, and there's not that many Zealots.
Yeah, he's taking the initiative. He knows that the best defense is a good offense, and so he's going to try to keep Classic pinned to his side of the map. The force field will be pushing this back for the time being. Very clutch defense here from Classic.
Now, likewise, more stage traps across the map. This time, Rumeith does notice, he does pull away in time. Only one drone gets caught out. But as you mentioned, as we have mentioned in the past, Ley Lines is a very defensive map. You have these narrow ramps coming into the third, into the fourth base as well. And all it takes is a couple of force fields and you can defend.
These Zealots, I can't bear them. They do have they do have shoulder pads, which is something. Something that the old Zealots didn't have, but they're wasting electricity.
They're wasting electricity, and it also looks like they're a little bit bulkier because they've got like armor plating around them, right? Like they're wearing more clothes. They've got padding.
True. Kids these days, they don't know how to get clothes that fit.
Like the Brood War Zealot is like taller and leaner and
and also only wore the bare minimum.
Yeah.
Because they didn't need armor.
Yeah.
Because their bodies were already hard.
Exactly. They were hard. Archon jump into the natural.
Yep. I'm going to be distracting the Hydras for a little while, also picking off a couple of drones.
It does distract for now. Lurker has now finished researching, and now Lurkers are on the way from the side of Rumeith. Meanwhile, Classic just taking fourth base, and we are looking to embrace the mid game here. Classic is keeping his High Templar back at home, building up those storms. Meanwhile, Rumeith likewise is building up his Lurker count. We could embrace the longer game state.
Oh, okay. That's something we weren't quite able to do with the other Zerg matchups, or the other matchups that involve Zerg yesterday or even today. Yeah, we could see Defilers, maybe?
True. Yeah, I mean, Defilers is going to be a big part of this. As we say that, Rumeith is getting into the Spire, though. I'm curious how he wants to make use of that, as Classic is pushing right through the center. Now, Classic does have a massive supply lead. The reason for this is the stasis traps. It's kind of like inverted damage, but over time, Rumeith, his economy has been struggling here because of the non-stop stasis traps, and as a result, Classic is almost maxed.
Yeah, Classic is almost max, and Rumeith, like you said, he's just struggling to get much of anything right now. He's behind in the worker count. He's behind in the army supply. Tech-wise, he's doing all right. We got Scourges!
Okay, Scourge.
Let's go.
There's nothing. I mean, I guess they can kill the prism.
Oracle.
Yeah, the
prism.
oracles. Sure. That's a big investment. No detection. Oh my god, the High Templar. Oh,
Pretty much all of them, almost all of them, gonna fall. Only one remains, and it's it's very much on the brink of death.
That was 5. That was 5 High Templar going down. The Observer was late, and that was a massive blunder for Classic.
And because of that, any momentum that Classic had earlier on, he's just pretty much forfeited it right here and now. Oracle immediately dies to the Scourge.
Oracle does go down. At the same time, though, we do have a Zealot counterattack with their Lurkers to defend. Also, Spineclaw, Sunken Colonies to defend as well. So nice defense here from Rumeith. Meanwhile, the main armies do clash, but Rumeith, he has the high ground. He has the concave. Classic has to back off, and he will lose the 4th. Oh, the move command.
Yeah, oof. This command is a little bit brutal, but once he turns around to attack, yeah, that wasn't ideal. The High Templar!
Oh my god.
It's taken out before it can drop a storm.
Templar goes down. Meanwhile, Zealot warping into the main. 14 probes that go down across the map. Meanwhile, the Zealots are cleaned up. They're locked down by the Morphing and Lurkers as well. Nice defense here by Rumeith. And back at home, Classic, he is struggling here, but he does have Carrier. Doesn't matter though. The Carriers have arrived. Classic rush into the Sky Toss, into the Fleet Beacon, but they're already Scourge.
Exactly. What better unit to have against carriers, specifically against interceptors?
Yeah. Against Carrier, we have Mass Hydra Scourge already here for Rumeith, so very nicely done. On top of that, because so many High Templar have already gone down, quickly checking the units tab. Okay, there are still 6 High Templar, still a lot of storm potential for Classic, but these storms, they need to connect, as we have, I don't think we've even seen a single storm yet.
We have not. To research, but just hasn't been thrown down.
The High Templar have been going down before they have a chance to storm, but here we go. We have a Classic pushing in. Rumeith has the high ground, has the ramp.
Not this ramp. See Classic trying to reposition a little bit. Of course, the engagement on better ground for him. Anyway.
Yeah. Does rotate towards the right hand side. I do appreciate Classic. He goes back home with the carrier. Like, he sees the Scourge, he's like, nope. He races back home with the carriers, but the main army is going to be engaging. Nice storms here. Does run away the Hydras. Oh.
Yeah, zones away the Hydras. Takes out most of the Scourges.
Yeah, that was a little bit wasteful for Rumeith. I mean, he saw the carrier earlier. He should know that he does need the Scourge, and now the Scourge is reset for the most part. Defilers are on the way. Let's go.
Here we go. Yeah, that's Defiler Mound on the Roach War, and you mentioned this to me last night, and how it can be a little bit weird. I'm experiencing now.
It's just
that's
the
not
Roach
Goliath.
Yeah, they're just repurposing the same model here, unfortunately. But regardless, I mean, it's good use of the assets, I suppose. But Defilers are on the way. For sure, as Lings, they do threaten to run by. The carriers are spotted, and we should be seeing some more Scourge. No, never mind. We have some Mutas in production.
Against carriers? Against Archons?
I mean, there is a Greater Spire.
True.
So
That's Guardians, right?
They can morph into Devourers or Guardians. One of the two. Guardians shoot down, Devourers shoot up. There's one for each. So we'll see what Rumeith does decide to commit into.
I was gonna say that's wasteful. You should consolidate them, but I remember that's Corruptors and Brewlords. So
as
that's something that Zerg likes to do.
Yeah, the army does push in massive storms here on the high ground, despite the plague. Despite the dark storm, I should say, the storms do quite a bit here. Oh my god.
Yeah, not quite Microbial Shroud, but
not quite. Is much better though. Is what I will say. It lasts a long time.
True. It lasts
still
yeah. Does it actually help against Storm, though? That's the question.
That is the question here. As I believe, because if I'm not mistaken, it only allows melee-based units or melee's attacks to really impact whatever's underneath that Dark Swarm. Meanwhile, we do rotate around the Guardians. They do try to lock down those carriers. Sorry, the Guardians. Devourers.
Quite able to get them. I got confused for a second.
Yeah.
Didn't feel like clicking on the unit to double check. I was like, oh, I guess Guardians look a lot different than how I remember.
Nah, the Devourers. They're so...
Guardians are the ones that have like a box head.
Yeah.
Or they're like a box.
Kind of,
From what
I
I
guess.
remember. From what I remember from RTD.
Yeah, as the Scourge, they dive
They
in, they get 1, they get 2, they get 3, they get every single carrier.
And with that Classic, actually still does have a pretty strong army. A lot of Immortals on the ground, but starting to lose steam when it comes to his push. How does he recover from here?
Yeah, we had a very nice Darkstorm earlier. The Defiler does get cleaned up, though, does get forced back. Last of Devours, they can't really do too much here, but it looks like they will come across another carrier, and Classic does hold. He does survive. He does barely hold on here back at home. Has plenty of bases, plenty of economy here to sustain himself, but that was a big loss here for his main army.
Yeah, we were mentioning earlier on how Classic was just way too far ahead when it came to tech, when it came to economy, when it came to supply, and now that's not really the case. Both players about even when it comes to the worker counts, and Classic with a very slight base lead, which is pretty significant, but things aren't looking as terrifying for Rumeith as they once were.
I have to get used to saying the word Defiler and Devour in the same sentence, referring to different units. That's something that I'm finding that I have to put effort into.
The fat one and the skinny one.
Yeah. Of course. As we do see, Classic Stasis Trap goes off so far. He is keeping up. He is holding on.
Yeah, you've been able to just clean up the rest of these Lings, but of course we're starting to get to the point where, yeah, Rumeith himself is starting to kill his own Lings in order to get different supply or higher supply.
For sure. To get the consume coming in here from the Defilers. Rumeith going to be rotating around, of course, towards the southern expansion. Classic is somewhat out of position, but he can always recall if need be, as Rumeith is looking for a way in.
Both players engaged in a very delicate dance right now. Going a little bit back and forth, just not wanting to make a false move here. Mothership is out, and I gotta tell you, no yoink.
True.
No Vipers, no yoink to worry about. I believe in the Mothership.
Oh! Meanwhile, we do dive on top of the army. The Plague on the carrier. Not quite on the High Templar, but regardless, massive connections. And the army does rotate around. Is going to try to collapse in. I'm sure he was hoping to land that on the High Templar, though. Oh, does collapse in.
Like Parabomb, but better.
Yeah, exactly. The Dark Storms get thrown down. Devours a dive on those carriers. The Storms, though, they're brutal.
Yeah, taking out just about everything here. What's it called? Devouring Cloud? Dark Cloud?
Oh, that
Dirty Cloud?
Sure
the Cloud
Uh-huh.
just acting as a little bit of a target here for Classic Storms. These carriers are so low, but they're not dead.
Yeah, that's,
and they also have their shields restored.
That's the power of Plague, right?
Terrifying.
Like the HP down to 1, and that means they can be targeted down. But again, the ground army still standing strong. The Hydras are struggling. Storm will connect. The Hydras that do barely break through. They're trying to at least.
But the Guardians are online, and they're looking to clean up everything else. Mothership is actually still in play. I'm a little bit surprised, to be honest, but our Guardians are looking to make short work of everything else in the skies.
Not enough anti-air there. Not enough Devours here. Yeah, the Guardians are being targeted down. They're like the crabs of the sky, as they are falling one after the other. Ooh, army diving forward. Another Dark Swarm.
And I thought I saw another Plague, but that's not.
God,
Scourge is gonna be landing on top of the Mothership just before the recall. A carrier also went down.
Yeah. Oh my god, that was so close. 2 carriers did manage to recall, did make it back. At the same time, Ling run by here towards the top side, but Rumeith, he is barely holding on. He barely has an economy to sustain himself. He's stuck on Ling Hydra. He lost so many Hydra units, whether it was Defilers, whether it was Devourers as well. The Guardians, it was an expensive army that Rumeith did lose. Classic, he still has been able to replenish that much faster, making 3 carriers at a time.
Yeah, plus he's managed to come out ahead when it comes to the economy as well. Behind those fights, he was expanding in a way that Rumeith hasn't really been able to. I mean, Classic, he's laying claim to the entirety of his side of the map.
Yeah.
while Rumeith still has a little bit of ways to go.
Yeah, we're in this kind of game state where the Protoss has a better economy than the Zerg, so that is also why Classic can afford this kind of intense kind of army composition here with the Skytoss, with the Immortal, with the High Templar as well. And Rumeith is struggling. He has been it has been quite impressive to see some of these fights, despite the supply advantage for the Protoss. Like, Rumeith has been holding on, but things are looking a little bit bleak here for him, as he is very, very limited with his gases. He's making a lot of lings. He has to rely on lings instead to try to hold on.
Yeah, fun fact about lings is they don't shoot up.
Yeah, they attempt to run by, but the carriers, they shut down the lings. Ay, Classic, he's about to max out. He is going to be pushing, and it's going to be a tough hold for the Zerg.
Yeah, that feels like a little bit of an understatement, right? I mean, how many spellcasters do we have left? Okay, we have 2 Defilers. We have an Ultra for some reason. 2 Ultras! Okay, it was intentional.
Yeah, we have the Ultra speed upgrade on the way. Ultras are amassing as well. I mean, that will help against the High Templar. Specifically, that's what their goal is to get on top of the High Templar, to shut them down, to get rid of that Storm capability here of Classic. But I'm still concerned about the mass carrier. That's still a lot of carriers.
Yeah, what is the answer? We have 1 Devourer.
Yeah.
And a bunch of Hydras, which... Hydras are alright, but a couple of Storms will make short work of them.
I mean, if we can get another Plague, on the army, then maybe, but that's really what it's going to come down to, as the center base is under fire. We do see Rumeith trying to come in from behind.
Come on, show me the Plague, show me the Plague. There's some very impressive Storms coming out here from Classic.
Yeah, the Storms do deal with most of the ground army. The Darkstorm does help, but Rumeith, he has to back off. He cannot quite engage, not into this kind of army. Cloak is activated. Rumeith, he has to back off, is still building up and still focusing on purely Hydra Ultra. And some Scourge.
Yeah, because what better way of dealing with the Sky Army before clearing up your ground army? It's like the opposite of Banelings, right? It's you get a bunch of Banelings, so then when they die, you can get useful units.
As the Swords, once again, they zone back the army. Ultras push forward, but the Archons, they just melt the Ultras into Dark Swarm, though. Oh my god. See, 0 damage on the Ultra.
Yeah. And that Ultra, that's the whole position. That Ultra was just standing there and taking it.
Yeah, the power of the Dark Swarm, mate, whenever it does get thrown down. But we do see Rumeith rotating over here. Again, has plenty of Archons. Rumeith trying to keep up.
I gotta say, we were praising a lot of sound design for Brood War, but the Pre-Tumor sounds a little bit too lasery for me, as Classic starts to push into all these Sucker colonies, trying to take out this base of Rumeith. Huge Storms gonna be zoning away the entirety of the Zerg army.
The Zerg army gets away. Oh my god, massive Storm on the Hydras again. The Dark Storm does nothing against the Storms, and the base goes down. 12 workers as well. I mean, Rumeith, he already had a struggling economy, now even more so.
Yeah, Classic. He's decided to slow down the pace of the game a little bit and just pick off key positions wherever he can. He's not looking to go for one big push or anything like that, although he could try. He has almost twice the supply of Rumeith now. I mean, he's maxed out, and Rumeith is barely over half of his total supply.
Yeah, he's respecting the army quite a lot here. He's going to rotate once again, going for these other fringe bases. Rumeith completely out of position. Another expansion is going to go down, and Classic, he is snowballing out of control.
Yeah, this really does look to be the beginning of the end here, as Storms will connect on the Hydras.
Yeah, brutal Storm. The feedback's on the Defiler as well. With that, the Zerg army here, it's barely holding on. The final Ultra will fall. And Classic, he can just commit in. As you said before, though, he's playing it very safely. Another Storm, going for these bases instead. Oh my god.
Yeah, just start him up. There was a kill, not a cancel.
That was a kill here. Meanwhile, Rumeith, he's trying to hold on, desperately trying to consume, trying to get some more Dark Storms going. But Classic, he is maxed. He's maxed out at this point. Rumeith down to sub 100 supply here. He's huffing a bit of copium at this point. Up.
Yeah, practically all the mineral patches are mined out, and all he has is all he's got. This one lurker has a lot of work. Has his work cut out for him, but unfortunately lurkers cannot shoot up. GG. Classic. Gonna take a very patient game number 1.
GG, well played. I mean, you say that it was a very intense game 1 as well. We, for the first time, got to see the mid to late game as well. We had a lot of really good engagements from both players, but as we saw over time, I do think that a big factor was the fact that Classic was freely expanding, and very rarely did we see Rumeith try to delay or try to get any economic damage. Classic, he was able to just sustain himself, sustain those losses, and yeah, his economy was almost untouched.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was focused on defending, right? Rumeith, I mean. There was a lot of poking, a lot of prodding, a lot of movement with Classic's army. Poking and prodding to take out the... later towards the game to take out the fringe bases, but for most of that game, mostly just to keep Rumeith back and keep him on his side of the map. Later down the line, once Classic was able to max out, and once he was able to really make sure that he was starving Rumeith out, was able to just go for the kill.
Oh yeah. Yeah, exactly. As I'm not sure if he even had it, didn't have the confidence to do so regardless. But now we're getting into game number 2 here, and we'll see where this takes us as we're going to be loading into Whispers of Gold.
Here we go. Another throwback to earlier, when they played earlier.
Yeah, true. The races are going to be switched though in a sense. This time we're going to be seeing Rumeith with the SC2 Zerg race and Classic with the Brutal Protoss. Also, very quickly,
see a repeat.
Huh?
Oh.
Go on.
A repeat of the Zealots just getting surrounded by Lings. We'll see.
We'll see. Also, very quickly, there were some people asking in the chat, like, well, why are there some brutal units coming into play here? Shout out to those that did respond in chat as well, but welcome one and all to StarCraft Evolution. This is not your typical SC2 series or SC2 match. Welcome to StarCraft Evolution instead, which is a mod.
Yeah. Should really be called StarCraft Generations, how I think about it, but regardless, we're going to be jumping in and continuing our decider match here, our best of 3 decider match. We're over here in the top left hand corner of the map, spawning all the way in the top left. We have our blue StarCraft 2 Zerg player coming out from the land of Korea. He is, of course, going to be representing himself as he's currently teamless, really fighting back hard in this series, despite being a little bit of a dark horse in the tournament. We have Rumeith.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the red Protoss player, the Brutal Protoss representing Twisted Minds from South Korea. It is a Classic. And I'm getting deja vu because once again, Classic opening up a 2-gate Classic going for, I would imagine, 2-gate Zealot Aggression, which I believe is the build that he went for last time.
Yeah, which he ended up losing with.
It's true.
As he wasn't able to defend against the Roach Ravager counterattack that Rumeith was able to whip out. But hey, I mean, we were talking about how Rumeith, he Classic versus Rumeith earlier on. That was the first match of the evening, and that both players maybe not fully warmed up here. So I would imagine that both of them, and in this case Classic, since he lost earlier on this map, has been able to tighten things up a little bit and has been able to... He's going to bear that in mind while playing this map. He needs to know that, yeah, Roaches, Ravagers, that's something that can come and kill me, so I need to potentially prepare a defense earlier on.
For sure. As once again, he does open up with the 2 Zealots. He's going to be moving out. The power walking is upon us. And as you can see here, the Zealot significantly less armor here. Also, it looks like they have it was trendy like back in the day, but they're not suspenders, but they're like hanging down from the hips. They're like, do you see? It's like God.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I don't remember what they're called. Yeah. But it's like, it's not really a belt.
No.
It's like it's more like there's some like chain or ribbon coming out of your pants.
Yes.
They have back in mid 2000s, I want to say.
Yeah, that was a big thing, like back in like the shuffling days. Yeah, it was like really.
Yeah, back when nu metal was a thing and everybody tried to be edgy.
Yeah,
Linkin Park popularized it, I feel.
Yeah. whatever that's
they
called.
just have chains coming out of their pants. There's a term for it.
There
but I
is.
just call them chains coming out of their pants.
God damn it. Regardless, as LT poke in, they're going to be forced back by the Queens by the spine defense this time, and Rumeith will hold. Lings, they move out for a counterattack. We do have Dragoons amassing up back at home. Classic, he should be able to defend, should be fine against this, and this time Rumeith is droning. He's not rushing into a Roach counterattack.
Yeah, no real need to this time, as Classic as well, not being anywhere near as aggressive as he was earlier today. You're looking it up right now, aren't you?
I am.
Can you hear the typing? It's bothering me as well. I wanted to... Yeah. Pants, chains. As we try to sort that out, we do see a lot more of a normal build coming out here from Classic, not neglecting his Dragoons this time. If you'll recall earlier this evening, he literally only had one Dragoon to defend against the Roaches and Ravagers. This time, Classic taking things a lot more seriously. Rumeith still gonna opt towards Roaches, but yeah, doesn't seem to be as aggressive this time.
Yeah, exactly. As we are getting ready for the Reaver drops, let's go. We have the shuttle already out. Reaver's in production. Shuttle speed is on the way, and Classic will soon move out with his initial opener. Meanwhile, Rumeith back at home did drone up to 2-base saturation. He's getting up to 2-base saturation, but has already begun Roach production. That's already 9 Roaches on the way. That is quite aggressive this early on, and it looks like he's getting ready for his own move out.
Yeah, he's going to be the one to take the initiative this time, but Classic, a lot more prepared for it. Why are they coming out of pants? I may or may not have just zoomed in on one of these zones to get a look at him.
Okay.
It does look like it's like coming out of the pants and looping around.
No, that was the fashion. That was the fashion. Like, see,
That
someone
was
saying
fashion,
that they're just chains. Well, at least here in Australia, they were like they were like ribbons or something like that. Like a lot of like dancers would use them and stuff like that. As the Reaver,
chains were too expensive.
As Reavers,
Metal is too expensive. Yeah.
They do get dropped here in the center map. A couple of Ravagers going to be going down. Another shot goes up, gets another Ravager.
Very nicely done here. Meanwhile, the front line coming out here from Classic going to be, very thoroughly defended as all these Dragoons are chipping away at these,
oh my god,
these Lings. The Reavers do keep dropping and they keep landing their scarabs.
Jesus.
This is absolutely brutal.
Yeah, the instant scarab shots are insane. Whenever they drop, they do instantly do shoot as well as they charge up that scarab shot. And with that, Classic, he defends, he shuts down the army, and now he's ready for his own counterattack.
Yeah, really learning, really adjusting pretty perfectly compared to the early game that they played. Classic, you gotta be careful though. You don't have a warp prism. The pickup range of these shuttles are significantly decreased.
Likewise, you also have to be careful with the Reavers because if you leave them on A move, they will attack buildings. So bear that in mind as they did shoot the Ravager. Meanwhile, so the Roach Warren, one Reaver does go down. Oof.
But another Reaver still in play, still able to get a Scarab off, and there's some decent splitting coming out from Rumeith, but at this point I fear that Classic just has way too much Protoss.
Yeah, he really does. As another shot goes off once again, we do see the nice control here with the Dragoons. They do dodge those Ravager shots. Roaches are falling, and Rumeith, he's up against the wall. He's barely holding on.
Yeah, Spinecrawler does fall, but Lings coming out and getting some really good surrounds on top of the Dragoons. Rumeith, he's fighting back.
Oh my god, massive Reaver shot about the Lings. The Lings go down, but the Roach Ravager is going to be enough, and it looks like Rumeith will still hold. Oh my god.
Yeah, Classic going to try to reinforce this with fresh Dragoons. Yeah, he's staying on the front lines.
I think something that's just really impactful. I mean, we spoke about it before, how it isn't really correct to like kind of compare the Reaver to the Disruptor because it's so, as the Reaver goes down, but it's so similar to like an Immortal. Like it's like a cross between like the Disruptor and the Immortal. But the attack rates compared to a Disruptor is insane. Like it shoots so much more often and so much more consistently than the Disruptor.
Absolutely, it's like a Disruptor, but a lot more reliable.
Yeah, it is.
Guard, a lot more consistent, as you said, and also Yeah, they formed the backbone of a lot of Protoss
Oh my
defenses here. Basic Root War.
Oh, the pickup micro, both Reavers barely saved. Roaches are getting on top of the Dragoons, but last there are plenty more Reaver shots where that came from, and the Roaches are going to be completely cleaned up.
That Scarab falling right in the heart of those Dragoons. You could even have 2 Scarabs out at the same time. You can't do that with Purification Novas.
You can't. You can't. It's crazy.
Insane, yeah.
As the Reavers are barely alive.
Friendly fire.
Likewise, you can also like drag Reaver shots like across the map like a Widowmine shot. It's like they just chase. Oh my god, as we do see Rumeith trying to once again dive on top of these Dragoons, but the Scarab shots are punishing. Finally, one of the Reavers does go down.
Yeah, but the Dragoons just keep coming and they don't stop coming.
Yeah, it's still very intense here as the Classic is 2 base all in. Classic is rallying everything across the map, making 6 Dragoons at a time. But it looks like, yeah, he will still punish this. Rumeith, he overextends off of creep. The Roaches are being shut down once again.
Roaches being shut down. The Queen's really facing punishment here from moving a bit too far off a creep. The Reavers instantly annihilate Lings as they pop out once again. Oh!
they annihilate everything, mate. It's crazy.
Yeah, that Queen's body just flew up into the air. That's the impact of the Scarab explosion.
Oh my god, it is insane. The Queen goes down, the boys being pulled away. There's barely any Roaches remaining here. The third base looks like it is going to be forfeit, but Classic doesn't care about the third. He does push forward, and never mind, he does care about it. He will focus it down first before pushing towards the natural.
Yeah, just deny those larvae, deny just about everything. Rumeith trying to go across the map with what remaining Roaches he's got. I don't think they're going to be able to catch too much here.
I mean, that's 3 Roaches. I mean, the reinforcements should be able to deal with them. We can see Classic even long distance mining as well. I mean, again, he's all in. He's running out of resources. The Roach one goes down.
And that is just about all she wrote, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. As GG gets called, Classic, he overwhelms, and Classic will take the series 2-0, making it out of Group B.
GG. Nicely done here from Classic. Once again, just kind of learning from the mistakes of the previous series. Able to just tighten things up and end up going with something a lot more effective here. Rumeith, he switched things up a little bit as well. He went and decided to be the aggressor this time. But after his initial push kind of got deflected, I think he didn't quite realize that Classic was going to counter with a 2 base all in until it was too late.
Yeah, exactly. He wasn't quite able to keep up with that. And again, just very nice unit control from Classic. I think what's more impressive, actually, is what I will say, is that the shuttle micro to keep the Reavers alive is a lot more difficult because of the pickup range. Right, the pickup range on the shuttle is so much shorter, so much smaller, so it's so much more unforgiving if you do slip up, and if you do mess up, it is more difficult than War Prism Micro, for example. So yeah, just really impressive control there from Classic. Did end up losing some Reavers from time to time, but overall it was still just a more efficient trade, and still just did overwhelm Rumeith.
Yeah, it was slow. I mean, when you don't have warp-ins to work with, it takes a little while to get your units across the map, but hey, that's why if you're going to go for an all-in, you might as well do it on Whispers of Gold, a map that is a lot more conducive for it.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. I mean, that goes both ways, right? But yeah, defensively, at least initially, the Reavers were out of this world. And with that, congratulations to Classic as we can switch our scenes over and go over the group itself. It was a very intense group. A lot of amazing games were held here. We were able to feature Quanta, as Quanta was the first to make it out of Group B, followed by Classic.
Yeah, I think probably the result that most of us were expecting, but not quite in the order that we expected it. I think we were all looking at Classic as one of the heavy favorites coming into the entire tournament itself. But Quanta was able to make him bleed, was able to take him out 2-0, or take him down 2-0. And as a result, Quanta makes it out first, followed by Classic.
Yeah, I mean, Quanta does not drop a single map. He does. He does go undefeated
True.
in the group stage. So I think Quanta really cementing himself as one of the favorites in the tournaments. Like Quanta, he is a really good player. I do rate him quite highly. Coming into this, even I did expect Classic to make it out in first place instead, which is why I'm very impressed by Quanta. I look forward to seeing how well he does in the playoffs.
Oh yeah. Definitely has it in him to make it pretty far, potentially even to the finals. We'll see.
Yeah, we shall see. With that, though, that is going to be the conclusion of Group B. We do say goodbye to the two Zerg players here in Wayne and Rumeith. They are going to be knocked out of the tournament and knocked out of SEL. They did have their own good showings, though, especially the ZVZ. The ZVZ was a lot of fun. It was,
yeah,
especially, I should say,
very chaotic.
I should say specifically the ace match was a lot of fun. Game 1 and Game 2 was just 13-12, so it was just, it was just
yeah,
more faster games. But the ace match really...
Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't work, yeah.
Ace match was more mid to late game, something that we rarely get to see in ZVZ, in SC Evo.
Yeah, at least, yeah. We actually got to see some queens in that game.
Oh yeah, did get to see those queens, and with that, that is going to be concluding our broadcast here for the evening. Just going over all of Group B. If you want to check out Group A, I do recommend the VODs. Group A was also a banger of a group, and we did cast it last night, so I do recommend it. Meanwhile, when it comes to Group C and Group D, that is going to be coming up in the next couple of days.
Yeah, not tomorrow, or at least that's not what we currently have planned, but by the end of this weekend, we're going to be finished with the group stage.
Exactly. Tomorrow we're going to be busy with the Tenacious Total Tussle and also with the Pondcast, so we do have other events scheduled, but we're going to be back here with Group C on Friday.
Indeed. So stick around for that.
Yes, do stick around. Likewise, once we wrap up the group stage, we're going to be going over the playoffs throughout the weekend as well. So non-stop StarCraft Evolution, day after day after day. I mean, after tomorrow, I should emphasize. So there's going to be plenty of content to come, plenty of StarCraft.
Yeah, it'll stop coming.
Exactly, and if you do want a bit of a teaser of what's to come for Group C, just quickly checking here, Group C is going to be featuring the STC, Skillus, 3-Point, and Spirit. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Here we go.
Yeah, I feel like Spirit's gonna be like Wayne, where we don't really know how good he is. Like obviously he's an amazing player.
How familiar
in SC2.
he is. Yeah, how familiar he's made himself with the mod. Yeah.
For sure, for sure. So Spirit's gonna be a wild card. Skillus has been playing SC Evo. Skillus is a little bit more in form, is what I will say. 3-Point, I would say, is the dominant force in Group C. The STC is going to be kind of like Kiwian, going to be a wild card as well, where I don't think we, at least I didn't really expect Kiwian to overcome and overwhelm Rebellion in Group A, but he pulled it off. So yeah, the STC, my eyes definitely going to be on him as well.
Yeah. I mean, there's extra motivation there for the STC, right? Because if he doesn't make it out, then Kiwian's going to roast him.
True. True.
You're like, I made it out, bro. What about you?
The caster beef between the STC and Kiwian. Ay. Not like this. So that is something to look forward to. Otherwise, I hope you all enjoyed yourselves. We are going to be wrapping up here for the evening, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for some more StarCraft content for the Tenacious Turtle Tussle.
Yeah. In less than 12 hours, if I have my math right.
Oh yeah, just under.
Whoa!
Just under 12 hours time. Also, before we do head off, Yaku, stream?
Yes.
When stream? What's going on? What's happening?
I don't know. We'll see how it goes. If I ever do decide to stream, I'm inspired a little bit by the SEL.
Okay.
If I ever do decide to stream, it's probably going to be... I'm inspired by both the SEL and also the Warcraft 30th anniversary. If I ever do decide to stream, I think I have some options of what to do, but I think it's either going to be Brute War campaign, except this time I'll actually remember to not stay muted.
Mhm.
or finally finish up the Wings of Liberty campaign, which actually now that I think about it, not good for streaming because I'm just like almost done with it. So unless I restart it all over again,
Have you
you know what?
not finished the Wings of Liberty campaign?
I haven't. I went in reverse order. I finished Legacy of the Void. I
Okay.
finished Heart of Swarm, and then I think I have like 3 missions left of Wings of Liberty
Okay.
or
Okay.
something like that. I played through it like I think years ago, and I just never got around to finishing it.
I'm shaking my head. Shaking my head.
I went in reverse order like that. But you know what? Maybe restart it and actually go in order. You know what? StarCraft campaigns, but in order this time.
Okay. So you can actually understand the story that's being told.
Yeah.
But for SC2, maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe it's fine. Maybe it's better this way. But regardless, yeah, look forward to it over on Yaku's channel. Meanwhile,
No plans. Yeah, no plans on to when that is gonna happen, but
Mhm.
that's probably what I'll do.
For sure, for sure. Meanwhile, from my side of things, exciting times. If you recall, or I don't know if you recall this, but
Oh.
we were live earlier this morning, casting code for Giants Cup, and I was a little bit distracted because I was trying to keep an eye out for the delivery man because I have ordered.
Did you get your parts?
Yes, yes, they did arrive.
Oh, we got a final.
Fun fact: as I had switched scenes to the end scene after Code for Giants Cup, he arrived. I was like, ah,
Yeah. Perfect timing.
Exactly. And I have yet to initiate the PC. Basically, I passed out.
Yeah.
And now we're up. I mean, it's gonna be quite a bit of setup here because, as you can imagine, with a new PC setup, you have to like download everything. Like
That's
maybe,
gonna take like
Yeah.
a couple of days.
for
Not a
sure.
couple of days, but that's gonna take an entire day
Oh yeah.
to really set it all to really get it all done.
I'm not looking forward to all the OBS settings alongside StarCraft casting tool and the plugins that we use for scene switcher and setting up the WebSockets, and there's a lot of setup if I want to stream from that.
Oh yeah.
And I have to re-download
That's why
everything.
you gotta get the JSON ready first.
Yeah, I have to get the JSON file. I have to download StarCraft and the PTR and test everything, and so it's gonna take a full day. I might start tonight. We'll see.
You need to stream it
I
with
don't-
your phone. You need to stream PC built stream. Let's go.
The other problem as well is I only have one keyboard, and I think if you adjust the BIOS, I think you can initiate a PC without a keyboard, but like I can't have like both PCs
in order
on at
to
the same
initiate,
time. So like,
the thing is, if you want to initiate a PC, the BIOS without a keyboard, you have to like jumpstart. You need to like
yeah,
you need to like rig the motherboard. It's a whole thing.
yeah. Yeah, so it's gonna be an experience, is what I will say. It's gonna be an experience going back and forth between my PC and my old and new PC. But yeah, exciting times to come. What does that mean? That means one, I can render VODs that much faster. Hopefully we'll be testing that. But more importantly, I can stream Final Fantasy 16. Let's go.
Let's go. You can go on a road trip.
I can.
Oh,
that's,
was that 15?
That's 15. That's the other one.
Joe 16?
Arguably the better one, yet to be determined.
Ooh.
We'll see. But yeah, so exciting times. I will start working on setting up the computer. Otherwise, if you want some more CranKy Duckling action, ! Socials in the chat, and you will get a link to our social medias: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Discord. All things CranKy Ducklings, as we are live on a daily basis. We're also live not just on Twitch, but also on YouTube as well, so you can tune in, you can support us. Patreon is available as well, where you can help support our tournaments. It is all funded via Patreon, by the people, for the people.
Help us get more chains for our pants.
There you go. What? Otherwise, thanks for watching, everyone. Again,
It's bothering me. It's on my mind. I'm not gonna be able to go to. I'm not gonna be able to go to bed until I get to the bottom of it.
True. We'll find it out. But with that, thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for the support. We do appreciate it. Otherwise, we'll see you guys in like 11 hours time for the Tenacious Turtle Tussle.
Yeah, we'll see you then.
See you then. Until then, see you guys next time. Hasta luego. Ciao, papi, ciao.
Bella. Oh, try to guess who the.
God damn.
Okay,
God damn.